Welcome out, friends. This is Ruby Director Chris Harrell, and I am so excited to be taking you through the most phenomenal book I've ever read in this industry, the GoPro book, The 7 Skills of Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. And I am extremely fired up for a few reasons, because I'm going to really just touch on these on a high level, but I do want to drive deep the importance, the magnitude of what these can represent in your life. Bottom line, our objective is education and understanding with every single person we interact with. And there's not really, thousands of skills for you to master. It comes down to you mastering only 7 skills and doing it over and over and over and over and over. And the more you do it, the more you practice it, the better you will serve people, the more successful you will be, the larger your business will become, and the better you will duplicate yourself throughout your team. Really, when there's people getting started in this industry, they really look at, you kind of fall into 3 different categories. You have the posers, you have the amateurs, and ultimately the professionals. My objective today is to drive you in the right direction of you becoming a network marketing professional. Not the person that people shy away from or hide from or run away from. A professional that people respect, look up to, and ultimately are magnetically drawn to the life that you're living. So I'm going to be covering these 7 skills: finding prospects, inviting, presenting, following up, helping your prospects to become customers or associates or teammates, as we call them. Helping your new teammates to get started right, jumping off the bat right away out of the gates. And number 7, promoting events. We can never leave that one off. All right, so let's jump on into skill number 1. Because if you do not lay the right foundation for yourself, you are automatically guaranteeing that you will fail in this business. The posers are the people that just have a mental list. The amateurs just write a few names down. I'm going to teach you the skills to go to the next level, to ultimately break through to levels that you never even thought were possible if you take skill number 1 serious. This is a professional career. You've got to do the things that are necessary. So first, we're going to start with your mindset on this skill. Our objective is not just to build a list of names, right? We're going to build an active candidate list. Now, what is required of you doing this? It is required of you to write down every single name you can possibly think of. I don't care when you knew them, how you ever interacted with these people in your entire life. It could be your mom and dad, could be your in-laws, could be your grandparents, your kids. It does not matter. I don't care if they're 2 years old. I don't care if they're 98 years old. Write them on your list. Very, very simple reason why, and I'm going to take you through an example I've used numerous times, and I hope you have your pen and paper out, because this is going to be a short example. Don't use it on your regular notes if you don't want to. It's just going to be a short exercise for you. But I want you to think about your top favorite type of music of all time. Your favorite, whether it's rock and roll or Christian music or country music, does not make a difference to me. Whatever that favorite type of music is that you've had over the longest portion of your life, that's what we're going to use for this example. Over the course of the next 30 seconds, I want you to write down your top 25 favorite musicians, artists, or groups in that genre of music. You got 30 seconds. Go. 5 seconds have already passed. I hope you're booking it. All right, you're more than a third of the way there. I hope you've at least got 8 names down. Probably creating a lot of pressure for you now that you got to think of the right names, right? Keep going, keep going. You got 10 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Guys, I hope you made it. Honestly, Brian Bolke has made it the furthest of anybody of the hundreds of people I've taken it through in this experience. He got 8. So if you beat him, fantastic, congratulations. You did not accomplish your task. The reality is, you were trying so hard to think of the right names, the right people. You're trying to decide for them if they belonged on your list. What if I gave you an alternate method, and I gave you a list of the top 100 best musicians, artists, or groups of that genre and said, hey, John, just circle your top 25 off that list? What a concept. It takes all the pressure out. It takes the guessing out. It just allows you to sift and sort through the list to find the ones that are ready when they are ready, all right? So there's 4 steps in this, guys, when you're building this skill out. You have absolutely got to make the most comprehensive list possible. You have got to take this very serious and always building upon that list, right? You have to constantly be expanding that list. Every single day you meet new people. There may be somebody you pass by their desk every single day at work. You never said hello. You never smiled at them. You never shook their hand. You never introduced yourself. Maybe that person at that local Starbucks you see every day. Just go up and say hello, meet them, introduce yourself, add them to your list. Harvey Mackay, who's mentioned in this book numerous times, GoPro, was challenged by his father to go out and build a list. Over the course of his life, he has a list of over 12,000 active candidates on his list, guys. This isn't just about network marketing. This is about being able to be a master networker, being able to serve people better, introduce people, connect people. The list goes on and on. The bigger the list, the more successful you'll be. And network on purpose. Very simple. For me, one of my objectives initially was getting out of my comfort zone, going to a new gym. Tara, my wife, she's been plugging our little one into different libraries to go to story time and such, to meet new parents. There's endless possibilities, but you have to do it on purpose. Expanding your list should be your #1 priority every single day, because you never know when that person needs what you have. And you've got a lot of different pages in here. Moving on that page 4 where I started you out at, where you can start out with your 100 hot list. These are the very first 100 that you need to get on paper. And as you can see here, it's got some tracking for you to keep track of the progress. We're moving people through multiple exposures as quickly as possible. Okay, so this gives you the ability to understand where you left off last time. Did you take them through step 2 or step 3 or step 4, skill 5, skill 6, through that journey, right? You've got to stay on top of these things, because you work so hard to introduce people, you might as well stay on top of it, right? And that's just the beginning. All right, let's move on to skill 2, inviting. This is the exciting part. I know a lot of people get caught up in the emotional part of this of, oh, I got to say the right things, and oh my gosh, I have to practice for at least 6 months and get really good and know everything about this company before I can ever invite somebody to take a look. Guys, if you think back to how you were invited to this company to first take a look at the products or the business, was it simple or was it complex? My guess is it was very simple. And all we're doing is trying to move a person from that candidate position on the list into your hot prospect list, someone that is ready to make a change with their health or their finances, right? So a few steps you got to keep in mind. Be in a hurry. Bottom line, be in a hurry. I never, ever, ever do an invite in person, because I can't be in a hurry if I'm in front of somebody, or I'll look kind of weird, right? So it's very easy for me to get on the phone with someone right out the bat. I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it's really important I reach you. First words out of my mouth, straight to the point, and it's creating that urgency and excitement behind your voice, right? Step 2 is compliment that person. A couple examples. You've always been so supportive of me, and I appreciate that so much about you. Another one. You've always been successful, and I've always respected the way you've done business before. Now, guys, you don't have to be as excited as I am. You don't have to be Brian Bolke and be bouncing off the walls, or Gina Hunter that has an uncontrollable amount of energy. You just have to be more than you are on an everyday basis. Elevate your excitement a little bit more. Remember, guys, think about why you're doing this in the first place. Why did you even say, I want this in my life? If you can't get excited about why you're doing this, you don't have to be excited about USANA. Be excited about why you're doing it. This is your vehicle to get you there. And these are the skills that can help you to maximize what that vehicle will do in your life. Plain and simple, right? Step 3, make that invitation. Now, there's a few different ways you can do it. It can be that direct approach. It could be a very indirect approach. Bottom line, in the process of this, your ability to get a large group of people to consistently do a few simple things over an extended period of time will determine how far you can go. So if you can grab a hold of these invitations, these examples that are in the book, in the GoPro book, or in the inviting formula that's also available at illuminatetruth.com, also created by Eric Worre, if you're able to utilize this verbiage that they're using and do it regularly, your team can then go duplicate it too. You can always refer them back to the book or to the 10-week fast track guide, right? Very simple. So a couple examples. I'm launching a new business and I really want you to take a look. What a concept, right? When I thought of quality people that I'd really enjoy working with, I thought of you. Would you be open to hearing what I'm doing? Are we pushing people? Are we pressuring people? Of course not. Guys, it could be as simple as you sending a text message. Hey, Mike, want to get some coffee or some lunch this week? Through the process of that conversation, they're going to ask you what's new in your life. Take that opportunity, guys, to introduce them to the vehicle, to the solution that you found. We're not here to jam it down someone's throat. We're not here to convince or push people. We're here to be the tour guide. Take them through the journey of these different skills, moving them forward through the process, and when their time's right, they make the decision. Step 4 of inviting. If I would you. For example, if I gave you a link to a video that explained a little about our opportunity, would you watch it? These are two powerful statements you can have in one breath that is so empowering. It's calling someone to action to make a change. I'm going to do this one more time. I want you to think about the psychology behind this. Hey, John, if I gave you a link to a video that explained a little bit about what I'm doing that I'm so excited about, would you watch it? Straight and to the point, right? You've taken that fork in the road to make a decision. All right, at this point, we're now going to transition them through 3 confirmations that they are going to do for you. How cool is that? I'm not pushing them. I'm not forcing them through this process. I'm the tour guide. Keep that in mind. So get a time commitment. When would you have time to watch the video for sure, John? John says, watch it by Tuesday night. Our response then should be, so if I called you on Wednesday morning, you would have watched it for sure, right? Fantastic. All right, step 7. What's the best time for me to call on Wednesday morning? John says 8 a.m. Fantastic. Or great. I got you on my calendar for 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. We'll talk then. I got to run. Right? Step 8 is get off the phone. Let me scroll back up here. What was step 1? You're in a hurry. Get off the phone. Guys, I've watched more people talk that person out of showing up because they were running their mouth. They were trying to give a presentation before it was time to do so. Keep this in mind, guys. Get off the phone once you have that 3rd confirmation. They've done all the work for you. You're just guiding them through the process. As you'll see in the guide there's also more about that text approach. Very straightforward, simple, to the point. It's as simple as sending coffee with a question mark. What are you doing next week? Question mark. Want to grab some lunch? Question mark. You're just looking to genuinely engage in conversation and look for an opportunity to offer information. That's it. All right, let's move on to the next section of this, using an expert. This is critical. It's so cool as I've grown through this business and working with such a great leader in Brian Bolke. And we used to often joke about edification and using an expert. And the fact that you make more and more money the better you are at bragging on other people and edifying them. So through this journey, you're able to use edification on so many levels, one of which is when you're introducing your expert to your guest, right? It could be during an invite. Could be during a presentation, could be during a follow-up, could be used throughout, right? So in this journey, you have a lot of trust with that prospect, right? The person that's on your list that started as an active candidate and they trust you. They may be your family member, friend, coworker, whatever it may be. They do not know your expert from Adam. Your objective now is to edify your expert to the prospect so that you can create some level of respect between them. So for me, initially, as I'm sitting there as a prospect, I might be looking at this expert kind of judgmental. Does this person know what they're talking about? Are they skilled at this? Have they had any success? Now, if I was to not edify my expert, and they start to talk about their successes and wins in their business and what they've been able to create, they are now bragging about themselves, shutting that prospect out. However, I'll give you an example. If I'm sitting down and Brian Bolke is my expert, I know that my guest is really motivated to change their life. They're working 2 jobs. They're very unhappy. They don't make enough money. They never get to see their kids. I have a perfect opportunity then to say, hey, John, I am so glad you're able to join me today. And I just wanted to share the absolute best person possible with you, my expert, my mentor, that has been able to create an incredible business on a very part-time basis when he got started. They now have business, he and his wife, in I don't even know how many countries. The last time I heard 8 countries around the world. They have no employees, no boss. They're able to both wake up with their kids, decide who's going to take them to school every day while still earning a multiple 6-figure income, whether they get out of bed or not. I thought you deserved to learn from the best, and that's why he's here. I've now given Brian complete excitement and confidence about me bragging, and he's ready to share all of his enthusiasm back with John. But now I'm going to flip the table. I'm also going to edify John, my prospect, back to Brian. I want to eliminate any walls between them whatsoever. And I'll say, hey, Brian, now I want you to know why I brought John here. I care about John. I've known him quite a while. I really respect him, and he works his tail off between 2 jobs, like I told you before, and he's just barely making ends meet. He's fed up, and he wants to spend more time with his kids and live a life really like what you are able to do every day. And I just wanted him to learn from the best, and that's why I wanted to bring you 2 together. John, meet Brian. Straight to the point, simple. I've edified them both on the needs that they both have to hear to create respect. How cool is that? Pretty simple, straightforward, and to the point. At that time, we move into skill 3. presenting. Guys, this is where the excitement starts to really happen. This is where you are now given the opportunity to bless someone's life in a way they don't even know is possible. They're able to finally see what you were so excited about and really gravitate towards it and get really motivated by that. Now, here's the thing. When I was first getting started, I was so excited about presenting. I was so focused on learning as much as I possibly could about everything about the products, the ingredients, the company, the compensation plan. Do not do that. You're going to paralyze yourself with analysis. We call it paralysis by analysis. Do not do that. Don't force your team to have to duplicate that, right? It's not what works. It's what duplicates. If you want to be the least important person in your business so you can go live your life the way you choose, you have to do the things that duplicate. That's why so many hours have been spent creating this handbook for you, why so many hours have been spent in putting together the GoPro book to give you the tools that work. You don't have to go through all the guesswork and reinvent the wheel. It's been done. Follow it to the T, guys. So first step is use a tool. Don't become that person that has to be involved in so much of everything. You know, for myself in the beginning, it was, let me tell you how to do this. Let me tell you about our company. Let me tell you about our products. Let me tell you about our compensation plan. And what I found myself having to do was to be involved and be engaged in every single conversation for hours and hours and hours on end when people don't have that much time. So remember, it doesn't matter what works, it matters what duplicates. So very, very simple. I start off with using a tool. I believe so much in the video introduction. We have put together the most incredible tools for you to kind of filter people through that process, right? Help them to get a little taste of USANA. When you take them to illuminatetruth.com, there's a phenomenal set of resources there. And actually, the video section is the best. It takes them through things about the athletes, about the company, about just a big picture of what we are so excited about. At that point, you now know if someone is serious if they move through all those videos, right? Then you can sit them down for a newspaper presentation, one-on-one or two-on-one with your expert, or a local event, or a webcast. We have regular webcasts occurring. They give you the opportunity, regardless if you live in the same city as that person or not. You know, I believe if you're someone out of town and you're looking at this going, I'm not in the big city with our huge team. Congratulations, because what I have noticed is some of the most successful people in the entire world with this company were in a different city than their expert, and it compelled them to go and start learning things on their own, to become that expert, to utilize the tools and the resources to become so successful. Now, for those of y'all that are saying, I want to get even better, though. I want to be that expert one day. I want to present for my team. There are great resources available through USANA's YouTube channel, plugging into webcasts like what we are putting on, learning that presentation over and over again. And ultimately, there's even a phenomenal video series that USANA's put out by different leaders, one of which that we're a huge fan of is Jordan Kemper Talks USANA, short and to the point. There's also a great newspaper presentation recorded on there as well that you can plug into and take advantage of. Guys, there's so many resources for you. You just have to take advantage of. But remember this, like I said, keep things simple. Another important step that I cannot stress enough on page 71 of the GoPro book is you writing down and understanding how to deliver effectively your story. Your story is so motivating to people around you and knocks down every single barrier that I know exists in their brain of you trying to push and lead and guide them into something they don't want to do. All right? So as you understand this, it's really simple. It's your background. It's the things you didn't like about your background, the things you were facing, your challenges. Maybe it was lack of income or lack of satisfaction in your job or whatever it may be, and how this industry, this company has set you free. How cool is that? But you've got to take it serious, write it down, and make it your own. Remember, page 71, develop your story so you can tell it and transform it. It is the most motivating thing you can do to people to get them to understand why they need to take a look at this too. All right, skill number 4. You've done the work. You've exposed them. You've helped them to understand how excited you are. The next step is follow-up. And I will never forget a phenomenal tool I was introduced to years ago by my good friend, Dr. Paige Hunter. She's a Star Diamond director in the company, and she did this incredible audio that was so eye-opening to me. And it was through this analogy. So I want to take you back in time, guys, to your very first date you ever had. Guys, play along with me, and women, just play along as if it was your first date as well. I remember when I was getting ready for this date, I got my hair cut, got my car washed, I was so excited. I could not wait to go pick up the girl. I had the strength and the confidence up to get the date. I invited her out. She said yes, took her to the date. We had the time of our life. It was fantastic. I could not have been happier. And as far as I know, she was too, right? So we go home. I drop her off, send her on her way. I go home, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to talk to this girl again. But we get caught up in this whole downward spiral of, well, how soon should I call her back? What's the right thing to do? Maybe she didn't really like me. I talked myself out of calling her back. She didn't call me back because she felt it wasn't proper for her to do so. I never talked to that girl again. You may be hearing this thinking, Chris is absolutely nuts. What was his problem? Well, the same thing happens in your business every day. It happens to countless people around the world in this business every single day. It is why most people will fail miserably in this business, because they have something thought up in their brain about following up. They have this fear for no unapparent reason. So let me give you an example, and you must do this within 24 to 48 hours. And the goal with every exposure is to set up the next exposure before you get off the phone, right? Or if it's in person, set up the next exposure before you leave. So in that presentation, before I even left, I've now confirmed with them, I'm going to be talking with you in either tomorrow or the next day at such and such time, right? So here's an example for you. Okay, Bill, I'll shoot you a text with the link to watch the videos. When do you think you would have time to watch them? Bill says tomorrow. I say, great. About what time would you have watched them by? Bill says 8 p.m. Great, Bill. So I'll be giving you a call around 8 p.m. You would have watched them by then, correct? Very good, Bill. Talk to you tomorrow at 8. Or as you see in the script, there's 7. Straight to the point. The goal at the end of every exposure is to set up the next exposure. Another challenge some people will say is, I feel like I'm bugging this person. Guys, I want you to think about this for a second. I want to rework the way your brain is working right now. If you dissect the statement that I just took you through, Bill told me when he wanted me to call him, he confirmed with me that that was the right time. And then when I made certain in it, and I confirmed it one more time, 7 o'clock tomorrow for sure, right? Bill says, yes, call me at 7 o'clock tomorrow for sure. If you don't call them back, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Realize, if you set the exposure before the next exposure ends, you are always following up on the promise that they made you make to them, not vice versa. How cool is that? So skill 4 is fun. That's your chance to opportunity to move them forward, move them through the process, right? Leading into skill number 5, helping your prospects become a customer or an associate. Guys, I love this part. I love how this is broken down for you. And these 6 different questions will absolutely call that person to action and make it so simple for you. If I were you, I would read these 6 questions over and over and over 100 times. Understand it, master it, practice it. Practice with the person that got you started, that's your sponsor or your expert. Practice this with your kid. Practice this with your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. Practice it with your best friend. It doesn't matter, just practice it. Because it makes it so stinking simple for someone to make a decision. I don't want anything to be awkward for you. I want it to be simple and to the point and help that person as the tour guide to decide. Once again, I'm going to come back to this tour guide idea, right? If you walk into a travel agency and you're actually having the questions about wanting to go on a vacation, they're just guiding you through the process of going where you want to go, right? Okay, so let's move through these questions. What do you like best about what you saw, John? John says, I love the part about making additional income. I want to pay off my debt so I can live a life of freedom by the time I'm 40 years old. Fantastic, John. That sounds great. On a scale of 1 to 10, being 1 being you have 0 interest, or 10 being you are ready to get started right now, where do you see yourself, John? John says 6. I say, awesome, John. If they say 2, say awesome. Because here's the thing, guys. If they don't have any interest whatsoever, they'll say 0. If they do have interest, they'll say 1. If someone says 1, they just have some walls and barriers, and they need more understanding, right? From the beginning, I said our job is education and understanding, helping blind people to see, right? Helping to move them out of the fog so they can understand the value of what you got. So let's say John said, I'm a 6. If I was a 6, I would be really excited for John. So John, based on what you've just seen, hypothetically, if you were to get started with us on a part-time basis, approximately how much would you need to earn every single month in order to make it worth your time? John says, well, I need $1,000 a month. If I could pay $1,000 a month on my debt, my gosh, I could pay off all my debt within the next 12 months. That's huge for John, guys. $1,000 a month is huge for him. He just gave you the real number that he needs. Okay, John, approximately how many hours could you commit to each week to develop that kind of income? John says, I could carve out about 10 hours a week if it's going to pay me $1,000 a month. Huge amount of income, right, guys? Part-time on the side, that's fantastic. Okay, John, approximately how many hours could you commit each week to develop that? My bad, I skipped over. Number 5, how many months, John, would you be willing to work those kind of hours in order to develop that kind of income? Okay, John says, you know what? If I was to make $1,000 a month, and I told you I'm committed to working 10 hours a week, I would do that for 6 months. If I'm not making $1,000 a week in 6 months, I'm done. Awesome, John. Okay, John, if I could show you how to develop an income of $1,000 per month, working 10 hours a week over the course of the next 6 months, would you be ready to get started today? I want you to realize something. If John has told you the exact numbers, I need $1,000 a month, keyword, I need $1,000 a month so I can pay off my debt faster, so I can live a life of freedom and not have that stress that I live with every day. The occasional vacation I could take my family on and I'm not able to do right now. If I could make $1,000 a month, working only 10 hours a week for 6 months, I would be ready to get started. They are a liar if they do not say yes at that point. Now, some people, in this case, may say, I just don't have the money to get started right now. That's okay. Great. So what you're telling me, John, is if money was not an issue, you'd be ready to get started today. Fantastic. Well, let's get you started on some training. Straight to the point, guys. If you have someone at that point that is ready, that has told you exactly what they want, how much they're willing to commit to you, and for how long, that is your prime candidate to get off to the races and start that process with them. We can plug them into so many resources. Start that education in rapid pace, because that person can start the process and get rolling. So, next question for you. Have you printed out the copies of the Getting Started form? They're all here for you on the Illuminate Truth site. You got the short little visuals there on the actual 10-week fast track guide. But guys, they're simple. Be prepared. Take advantage of these resources. They're beautiful resources that guide you through the enrollment process, right? And helping that person, whether they want a custom package, the entrepreneur pack or the professional pack, or whatever it is that is necessary for them, what they are comfortable with to meet their needs. That's how you get them started, right? Great opportunity at that point to take them through the health assessment, to know what they are having recommended for their health track, to get off and running, right? And you've got to put an emphasis on this 10-week fast track workbook. It's been put together for you after years of training, years of personal development, years of mastery of these skills. Guys, you don't have to go look any further. Team Illuminate is committed to your success. You just got to plug in and use the resources. It's endless, right? Through this process, you will become that expert, and you're able to lead people through the action steps necessary, right? Of the packages, enrolling them as a preferred customer, one-time purchases, whatever that may be, moving them through that process, right? All right, skill number 6. This is an exciting time. You now have that person that is ready. They are fired up. They're excited. They have now placed their product order. They are excited about their health. They're excited about their goals. They're excited about their why. They're excited about all these things. You now get to help them get started and off to the races. First and foremost, number one priority is the 1-hour game plan meeting with your new associate to walk them through this fast track guide. Now, you may say, I don't know how to do this. I've only done it once. I'm watching this for the first time, going through these skills with you. Guys, Brian Bulke has recorded the entire 10-week fast track guide for you, a walkthrough on YouTube that you can access through the Illuminate Truth page. You can't go wrong. If I were you, like I was in the beginning, whatever tools I could get my hands on, and none of this was available when I got started, I would have gone through this numerous times. I would play it while I was sleeping. I would want to master it as quickly as possible so that I could help my new associates get started right too. Make sense? Use all the video trainings. There is so much on the new associate page. if a person-to-person isn't available, right? Sometimes you're going to be that long-distance person. And congratulations if you are. These are great tools for you to be able to take advantage of and duplicate with your long-distance people, right? We all have friends in other places. I have associates that have wrapped around the world as far as the Philippines, which is exactly 12 hours away. Guys, I needed to be able to leverage tools. If I wasn't able to leverage tools, I would not be focusing on duplication, giving that person the best chance to succeed if I wasn't always available, right? People cannot be duplicated, but systems absolutely can be. But if you get them plugged into the text resources, into the email resources that Team Illuminate has created for you, they'll always know about the upcoming events, the upcoming conference calls, the upcoming webcasts, the upcoming Saturday at homes. There's so many components or spokes within this system that will help that person get off to the races and get started right. And if you understand this, if you practice this, if you master this skill 6, you'll be able to duplicate that throughout your entire organization, regardless of the city they live in, the state they live in, or potentially even the country they live in the world. Talk about a 24/7, 365 international business that runs for you even while you're sleeping. If you focus on the system, that will absolutely be the reward that you're able to take advantage of. But only if you take that part serious. Remember, professionals always set the proper expectations. You can only do so if you've mastered this process. All right, let's move on to skill number 7, promoting events. You know what? I could talk about this for quite a while, because this is one thing that I did not take very serious in the beginning. I did not understand that experts in this industry had proven at major events such as our international convention that you could often take the number of people from your team that you have in attendance with you, multiply that number by about $1,000, and that would be your annual income for the coming year. So if you take 10 people with you to the international convention, most likely you're going to earn about $10,000 that year. Okay. Obviously, there's factors that can change it. The more you plug people into the system, you plug them into more local events, which later plugs into national events and things like the GoPro Mastery event or international convention. Those numbers will continue to climb. But you have to understand the magnitude of this and how powerful events can actually be in your business. There is nothing I can do to create that for you unless you're in attendance at that event. You may tell me, Chris, I really can't make it. Something's come up. I might have to work an extra shift, or we're taking our kids to SeaWorld today, or whatever it may be. And you tell me, take notes for me. Well, while I'm sitting in that room, I don't really know what you need to learn. I don't really know exactly where you're at and what's holding you back from going to the next level of where you're at in your business, right? If you're trying to break through to, let's say you want to make that extra $200 a week, there's something different than you need at that event than what I need. All right. So what you need to understand is our job is not to talk about events or announce events or just post it on Facebook about events. Our job is to promote events. Treat your teammates when you're promoting events no differently than when you're trying to move someone from an active candidate to a prospect and help them to either become a consumer of the products or to join your team. Guys, I treat it the exact same way. So if I understand with prospects, it's going to take 6 to 8 interactions for them to make a decision and get started. I'm going to treat the associates on our team the exact same way. I'm going to invite them and promote to them an event 6 or 8 times so they understand how serious I am about the event, because I know that that event will change their life. As people move through this journey and they are exposed to a larger event, the social proof, the wow factor, the reality that there are so many other people besides you plugging into this company, taking advantage of this system, and you learning there are people with less ability, less education, even less skill sets than you have, creating extraordinary incomes. But doing so, living a life of freedom, it will motivate the absolute heck out of you. There's something magical, guys, about you getting away and plugging into that international event. You've got to make that commitment for international convention this year. I don't care if you enrolled today and convention is next week. Figure out how to get there. You'll be blessed if you did. I tell my team, If you go to the event and you don't have the absolute best experience of your life, you're not empowered and equipped and unstoppable walking out of there to go and fulfill your dreams, I'll refund all the money it cost you to get there, because I know it. And in the last, gosh, a decade or so it is, I have not had a single person take me up on that offer. They've walked out of the event empowered and committed and on fire to conquer their goals and their dreams, to live life the way they chose to the day they started this business, right? Your responsibility is absolutely to lead by example, and you can never tell your teammates to go if you're not going to go. Plain and simple. So I have a challenge for you. The next local event that's coming up, if this is your first time going through the handbook, this applies to you. If you're going back through this for another time, this applies to you. If you're a veteran associate doing a refresh, this applies to you. The next event that's local in your area, take the time right now to write down a list of at least 3. I'm hoping you're putting 5, 10 to 20 names you're inviting to this event, because the number that you want to show up, it's most likely going to be 10% of them that can, because you never know what's going to happen in their life that given day or week. So you have to over-invite to ensure you hit your goal. Write down the date of the next international convention, and also the number of people from your team that will be attending with you. If you are brand new, you started this week, guys, you have a huge opportunity to invite people, plug them in, use your expert, and move them through this entire skill set process. Get one person from each side of your business at a minimum joining you at convention. The beauty of this is you will come back unstoppable and bulletproof. But if you have one person in each leg of your business joining you as well, coming back with that same tenacity and hunger, you will be an unstoppable force with your team. But it's up to you. Will you take it serious? For me, I had a huge reality check at my first major event. I saw people, like I had said, that had not gone through college, had not even completed high school, had a huge problem even speaking the English language, and had moved to the US from another country. At the time was homeless, living on a park bench, had built a business to $1,000 a week income. That event changed my life forever in realizing I was never making an excuse again. I have it too easy. I don't care how busy I am. I don't care if I'm working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I don't care if I have 2 jobs. I don't care if I'm going to school. This was my way out. And the more events I went to, the more people I met that made it real for me, that's when I understood this was my way out. I pray that every single one of you commit today to mastering these 7 skills. That you commit today to taking yourself to the next level so that you can duplicate throughout your entire organization the mastery of these skills. I'm going to take you through one last quick overview because I know there's the importance behind this. Because it starts with the basics. You building a complete, comprehensive, living, breathing list that you're committed to network on purpose and grow. Because it's not our job to choose to be God and choose for them. Our job is just to invite them, to expose them to a way out, which moves into skill 2. Mastering the verbiage throughout the GoPro book, throughout this handbook, throughout the GoPro inviting handbook as well that's available at Illuminate Truth. Mastering that so you can refer your team back to that and they can master it from that verbiage. Because it works, because it's real. To skill 3, presenting, utilizing the tools to filter and sift and sort people through that process. To writing your story and telling it and delivering it with passion because it's your story and they need to hear it so they can knock down the walls and the barriers. To following up and doing what you said you're going to do. To calling them to action, to making the decision to whether they want to become a customer or an associate. Asking the 6 core questions, understanding what their commitment is, what their requirement of income would be for it to be worthwhile to them, how many hours a week they're willing to work, and ultimately, how many months they would be willing to sacrifice or invest, better word, in their life to achieving that. Skill 6, to helping your new teammates get started right out of the gates, to hitting that goal of Platinum Pacesetter, to moving quickly, to building that confidence, to understanding that Every single thing that they do is duplicatable, and if they can duplicate, they can build whatever they want with this business and obviously be able to live the life of their choice. And lastly, skill 7. Never stop promoting events, but more importantly, never stop attending events so you can tell your transformational story to your team from the past event that you attended that in turn is going to impact them at least as much as it did you, if not more. Team, I thank you all for taking time out of your day to dive in to investing in yourself, investing into the 7 skills. Once again, it was just an overview though. This is just to get you off the ground and running. There'll be more training and resources to take this all to another level in the future. But you got to start with the basics and the mastery of the 7 skills to help you to become a network marketing professional. I thank you all for your time. Have a blessed week and to more and more success.